Hey guys, it's RodimusPrimal. I am back on another video, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about the Hasbro's reveal at MCM Comic Con, which included a lot of live-action Studio Series figures, either with the windows of release, but also today they had a live stream which revealed the Fallen and Devestator, and I am really excited to talk to you about it all. So, of course, I got a lot to talk about, so sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Consider supporting the channel on Patreon, becoming a channel member, or purchase some merch. Links are in the description below. Now, I made mention of this in my live stream a couple days ago, and that I was going to be at TFCon this coming up weekend, which is November 1st through the 3rd. They are also doing their own third-party figure that they're selling as a convention exclusive, which is this dark obsidian figure. It is a Nemesis-colored version of Energon Optimus Prime. And it's not necessarily something that I'm collecting, but I know a lot of people who are really looking forward to a dark Nemesis Prime like this. So it's definitely something pretty cool. I'll be there the whole weekend, so don't, feel free to come up to me. And I'll also be having a panel on Sunday afternoon at 12 o'clock. And I will be selling a bunch of Transformers, including my Combiner Wars Devastator and my Brave Maximus and a bunch of stuff that I'm trying to downsize my collection. So I hope to see you there. Now, as I mentioned before, MCM Comic-Con revealed a bunch of stuff. I heard a lot of folks complaining, like, how come they're doing all this Studio Series 86 stuff? How come they're doing all this Gamer Edition stuff? And how come we're not getting more live-action stuff? But I guess, Hasbro has been hearing you guys, and I hear it. So this kind of helps me because, it's not necessarily something that I collect, but I'm always happy when fans get, like, some of the Transformers figures that they would like to see new figures of. Even if, like, including myself, have, like, let's say, like, 4 or 5 different versions of the same character. But that being said, it looks like they're really trying to make the best versions of these characters for Studio Series. And just based upon the list here, we can already see you've got, Bumblebee movie, Deluxe Bumblebee, Rise of the Beast, Voyager Optimus Prime is a repack. They're doing a leader Apink, 86 Jazz is a repack. Deluxe Q, Voyager for War for Cybertron, Ironhide, Age of Extinction, Leader Class, Optimus Prime, and Dark of the Moon, Shockwave. And just getting a look at them, the look at this Bumblebee figure specifically, a licensed Volkswagen Beetle. It doesn't look like it is the same mold as they've done before. I think this is a new mold. I could be wrong, but the figure does look very impressive to a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people excited about this because they wanted this version of Bumblebee in a deluxe scale, kind of redone with a new mold or some retooling or what have you. Apink is very exciting. He had a pivotal role in the opening scene for Transformers Rise of the Beast. It is a retool of the Rise of the Beast Optimus Primal, which to my understanding, they're also going to be reissuing. There's Apink in his beast mode, which gives you off the fact that it is a different, head sculpt on him. And, I think he looks very good. Apink is a deep cut. For those of you who are not aware, Apink in particular was a BotCon exclusive redeco of Transmetal Optimus Primal. So the fact that they actually included him in the Rise of the Beast movie, and of course now toy-lined, is very cool too. And the fact they're also re-releasing Optimus Primal is another good thing as well. They're doing a repack again of Studio Series 86 Jazz. I think this is not a bad decision, and the reason why is because with Jazz in particular, he just had a starring role in, Transformers 1, which if you've not seen that movie, that was actually very good. I had a couple people come up to me at church today and this morning, and they're like, I finally saw Transformers 1. Wow, that was really good. I was like, see? It's like, I'm telling you. So I think with Jazz's pivotal role in the film, releasing a, obviously Earth mode, Studio Series 86 Jazz is a very wise decision. They're also doing Deluxe Q, acknowledging that he is a different character. Q being based on Wheeljack in personality, but is a very different character. Q named after the James Bond character with the Einstein look there. They're also doing the Gamer Edition Ironhide. Awesome as well. And, you know, I saw the Ratchet figure, and the Ratchet figure looks very, very good. And I'm also glad that he's coming with different weapons here for Ironhide. I know some people want specific weapons with the War for Cybertron games. I think that was like a big thing with the War for Cybertron line, is like making sure you can get the weapon that you want. And I do like this Ironhide design overall. I wish that he showed up in the Transformers Prime cartoon, but that didn't happen. And also now we have the Knight Optimus Prime from Age of Extinction with a very large sword. And I've never been a big fan of this design for the robot. So, but like, you know, a lot of people are going to be very excited about this one in particular. So, you know, if it looks good in its final render, of course, these are just kind of like still shots taken from like the space bridge or what have you. So we don't get an actual look at what the figures look like. The Shockwave figure, I know a lot of folks are going to be excited about that design. You know, it's kind of weird. In the film, he looks more silver than purple. It's like the toys are purple, but in the film, he looks more silver to me. But that's just my own personal take. But then came the thing that I was super excited about. Today's reveal event showed off both Devastator and the Fallen. And this is the Fallen that I have been waiting for. I'm not a fan of the spindly design of the live action films. That original design with the flames, the furnace, literally being a walking furnace, calling himself the Fallen, was like what I wanted to see out of a new toy out of the Fallen. And otherwise I would have not been inclined to buy it. Now I'm inclined to buy it. And with the flame effects and everything. And if they're removable and you can like put them onto another figure and or use them for something, like you're blasting up a transformer or trying to show up at like an action scene and you can add those flame effects. Oh man, it's going to be so cool. Really, really cool. But Mark showed off what Megatronus looks like here, and you could already see him. He has his tank mode, which looks amazing. His robot mode, particularly, he comes with the Requiem blaster, and the actual barrel is supposed to be like a suppressor. I believe it's attaching to his back here. So that's going to be like for the tank mode as well. And his two weapons separate in order to become a spear for him to hold. Actually, I think they're together and he holds it because his hands open up. So he's actually able to hold it when you combine the two as a spear, which kind of, it's almost like this, like his weapons are like a combination of the Power of the Primes cartoon and the Revenge of the Fallen movie. But his robot is clearly based on the Dreamwave design, and all of these flame effects are just so cool looking overall. And if you can like rearrange them and have them like in different spots, because just to show this image here, this is what the Fallen looked like in the comic book, and he looked very, very cool in the comic book overall, and it was just like so cool to see that, and now to have it in figure form, I'm like, yeah. I'm also curious if this figure is going to be is going to be retooled or completely or the design is going to be used as the basis for Studio Series 86 Megatron. I'm really curious as to how that's going to turn out. You know, looking at his legs and his feet, the way that they're hiding the tank treads in particular. You know, obviously his feet here have a little bit more claw-like feet, which are different. And, you know, his midsection, the way it transforms is specifically designed, but it does kind of look a little bit like Megatron. And he also has a specialized symbol, which is like his mark for him being the Fallen. Apparently, all of the primes in this toy line are going to have this special marking, like a special marking for each of them, and their weapons are going to be like the specialized weapons or items that they come with. It's like the artifacts. So they'll do like a Nexus Prime, they'll do Prima, they'll do like all of the different things like the Matrix. But getting a look at his tank mode, this is what I was talking about with the suppressor, with the actual cannon that kind of sticks out, and his tank mode does look very cool. I wish I would be able to see it without all of the kibble on it, just like the tank plane as is, just so I can see from a visual standpoint if it really is going to be a pre-tool for Studio Series 86 Megatron, but we'll see where it turns out. The tank mode looks great, looks awesome. One other thing I wanted to make mention of is that they are returning to windowed packaging with the plastic over it to cover the figure so you don't have to worry about someone stealing the head of your figure. I made mention of this like a couple of years ago to Hasbro, and they're like, oh no, that's what we're doing. Well, they're returning to it in 2025. You'll no longer have to have the open packaging. They're going back to plastic windows to cover the toy, and the packaging looks awesome. It just looks incredible. I do like the color scheme of it and everything, so I'm very happy about that. Also, to take note, the side of the packaging that they show off Liege Maximo. I believe this is the Fallen Megatronus, and I think this is Star Convoy on the side here. Now, if it is Star Convoy, the chest itself, when you actually kind of look at it, like if I zoom in on it, the details are kind of lost in the fact that it's gold, but it kind of looks like Power Master Optimus Prime. So I'm curious if Star Convoy will still have the star on his chest, or if it's going to be like a combination of Star Convoy and Power Master Optimus Prime. And we'll see how like that robot mode turns out, because apparently that's going to be a Commander class figure for the Age of the Primes. That's from the rumor that we're hearing. The other thing to take note of is, yeah, this symbol is the 13th Prime, and so it looks like they are going with the aligned continuity. I have never, ever, 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 ever liked the idea of Optimus Prime being one of the 13. I don't like it. I like him being a descendant of the Primes, and he was chosen to be a Prime because it's an everyman story. That's why I like Wardon, because it's an everyman. He's a warehouse worker. It's why Transformers 1 as a miner works, because he is an everyman, and he turns into a truck, an everyman's job. And that's kind of the thing. Whereas the 13th Prime being the identity of a future Optimus just doesn't work for me. But at the same time, I guess that's kind of what they're going with the toy line. I can understand that. But this is might be based on that whole aligned continuity Covenant of Primus thing. But the fact that they're going with that the Fallen himself is based on Dreamwave, it's different. It's different. We'll see what they do. That being said, the artwork looks incredible. The Fawn looks so awesome. I definitely want this figure just based on the artwork itself. The whole idea of him being a furnace and the energon that runs through him burns so hot that he's literally on fire all the time. And his tank mode, even that, the energon is burning off, which his cannon, the Requiem Blaster, has to be suppressed in order to be able to fire off a shot at whatever he intends to destroy. So we also got a look today at Scrapper. One of the two Constructicons. He will be a Voyager class figure, is going to be releasing in April, and he comes with the gun for Devastator. There he is in his he's got his alternate mode there, and this Combiner is going to be different than the Combiner Wars figure, whereas the Combiner Wars figure, it looks like that they built Devastator and then they made the Constructicons like an afterthought. Here they really took some care to make this Devastator a little bit different than that Combiner Wars figure. And the Combiner Wars figure scales well with the War for Cybertron Omega Supreme, but this one scales well with Menasor, and will scale well with the new Combiners that apparently are going to be coming as well. Still, that being said, this Scrapper figure looks awesome, as does Bonecrusher. Now, Bonecrusher, his center kind of looks a little weird, but this figure in particular is going to be a deluxe scaled figure. So Scrapper, because of how they're combining, they had to do extra joints inside, Scrapper, so that he can become a good supporting leg for Devastator. Whereas Bonecrusher is a little bit smaller because he becomes part of the arm. And that's the reason why you're going to see both Bonecrusher and Scavenger are going to be deluxes, whereas Mixmaster and Scrapper are Voyagers. And then they're doing Long Haul and Hook as one set as a commander class, because the two of them come with all of the extra pieces necessary to combine into Devastator. But looking at Bonecrusher, he looks awesome. I don't like the Combiner Wars Bonecrusher figure. And in fact, all of the individual Constructicons really suffer in a lot of ways. And I don't particularly care for that. You know, even though the combined form altogether it's literally a menacing Devastator. You know, these figures individually look great so far. And just to see them in scale next to Commander Class Optimus Prime, I'm glad they actually brought him out, because that actually gives you a good idea of what he's going to look like, you know, what the whole team is going to look like altogether, that they'll scale well with, you know, pretty much all of them. According to the scale chart, Optimus Prime does stand that tall next to the Constructicons. But also, take note of that, is that you'll be able to take Ultra Magnus and smash the Constructicons together. So Carnage in C minor actually does work well for scaling the two of the Constructicons to smash together. They also showed off the packaging. This was with them without the figures in it, but just to see what the packaging is going to look like. Again, they've returned to windowed, you know, packaging, so you'll be able to see the figure inside the box, and you won't have to worry about somebody taking the head off of a figure, or in the case of Legacy Soundwave, someone stealing the cassettes. And as I mentioned before, they are going to be releasing the first two are going to be on shelves in April, so you'll be able to get Bonecrusher and Scrapper. July will come with the one set for, you know, Long Haul and Hook, and Scavenger and Mixmaster will be coming in September of 2025. Now, I also want to make mention that they acknowledge that a lot of people have not been able to get their hands on Breakdown. They don't want that to be the same case with this next wave of Studio Series figures. They're going to actually try their best to make sure that they have enough of them on the shelf for you to be able to get. That's why there's a window from April to July, and from July till September, so that they're on shelves a little bit longer, so that more people can get their hands and complete their combiner. Because, again, I still have a friend who lives in Virginia, and he's telling me all the time, I still have Breakdown on order through one of the sites, and it's still like just sitting there in, you know, pre-order limbo. And they don't want to do that this time around. Hopefully they'll be able to re-release. In fact, I actually made mention, I actually typed it as a comment. I said, you guys got to release these figures that are hard to get. Breakdown being one of them, Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus being another, you know, obviously Studio Series 86 Grimlock, but also DevCon and Beachcomber. People missed out on that wave. So, you know, if they're able to get those figures re-released somehow, either repacked or just kind of like, hey, you can, you know, we brought out more of them for you to be able to purchase. However it is, because a lot of people missed out and wanted to get those figures. So I hope that that's the case, that they do that here. Another really cool thing they did here is they brought out Menasor to show him next to Devastator. And this is a grayscale for Devastator, so you can see what he looks like all together. And how Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime stands is pretty much like at the waist of Devastator. It's still a menacing figure. It's not as big as the Combiner Wars figure was, but I think this is the perfect scale for the Combiners, in my opinion, because, you know, it's one thing to have like the Kaiju style, like scale, like the super size, way too giant Devastator, and that is what the Combiner Wars Devastator represents. This one represents like, okay, these are the robots, these are the vehicles they turn into, here they combine, and here it is, like they're still bigger, they're still menacing, but now they fit on your shelf better. But looking at this Devastator, he looks more sturdy, and that's what I was anticipating, whether or not it was going to hold together better, how the gun would be able to hold into it. Looks like they put a 5mm peg into his hand, so you can put the gun on there and not have to worry about the gun falling out. Again, another thing with the Combiner Wars Devastator doesn't have, it has a little bit of an issue with. I like that his head stands taller than Menasor altogether. So that is a plus, a big time plus. And I'm very, very pleased to see that with these two figures. And again, there he is. Like, there's Optimus Prime standing next to both Devastator and Menasor. And still, it looks fantastic. I cannot wait to complete this Devastator figure because, you know, I've been anticipating it. I've been anticipating a Devastator figure. I'll actually be bringing my Combiner Wars to TFCon. So, you know, I mean, if people really want to have that figure, go for it. But this one, I'm looking forward to quite a bit. But I'm very excited about these figures, but I want to know what you guys think about the Combiner Wars Devastator, about the Fallen, about all of the other Studio Series figures that are coming out that were revealed yesterday. Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. Check out my other videos as well. I have many more Transformers videos, including a new retrospective coming very, very soon. And on top of that, I will see you all at TFCon. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.